Hello and welcome. My name is Kaylee Jo and I make content all about my experiences as a theater educator, and one of my favorite parts of my job is the opportunity to choose the next title that my students are going to perform. And there are some years that the options just feel a little dry. It's like there's not much to choose from, which is why I get so excited whenever new titles are announced. For today's video, I am going to share 6 musical titles that were recently released that I think would make great choices for your school theater program to perform. Now, I don't want you to lose your head over this first title, and that is Concord Theatrical's 6 Teen Edition. 6 is a modern pop take on the 6 wives of Henry VIII, and this musical is an opportunity for each of them to share their stories that were cut short by Henry 500 years ago. Back in August of 2023, they announced that they had acquired the rights to the show, but as of January 2024, schools are actually able to apply for a license to perform this show. So I think that the earliest that we would see this show being performed in our local schools would be the end of the 23-24 school year. From what I understand, 6 the musical has been made more appropriate as a teen edition by adding more than just 6 characters and removing some of the more sensitive content, but I have not personally read the script yet. If a comparison between 6 and 16 edition is something that you would like to see on my channel in the future, then please comment down below to let me know that that is something you are interested in. Next up, we have another release from Concord Theatricals, and please give me a minute to explain before you judge me for sharing this title, and that is Pete the Cat, the Musical. Pete the Cat is a beloved series of children's books, and I think that this show could be a great fundraising opportunity for your middle or high school theater program. Because the show is only 45 minutes long, it only requires 5 actors, it is relatively simple and easy to put together in terms of a musical, and I think if you were to advertise this to the families of your elementary kids in your district, I think it could be a great opportunity to make some money for your program. But money-making opportunities aside, I think this could also be a great show if you do any kind of tours through your elementary schools, just to kind of show them what your theater program is all about with content that they would be interested in. Another recently released title that I am really excited about is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory through MTI. Now, notice that I said released and not acquired or announced, because there is a really important distinction here. Publishing companies have this really bad habit of loudly and proudly announcing that they have acquired the rights to a show, and then sometimes they take years to actually release the rights for schools or community groups to be able to perform. For example, the announcement of the acquisition of the rights to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the musical, was made in November of 2019. That's nearly 5 years ago. So don't get too excited whenever you see new titles being announced or acquired until you see an actual release date attached to them. All of that being said, I think that Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is going to become a staple title for schools and community groups because of the family-friendly content, recognizable title and songs, and especially with the recent success of the film Wonka.
Quiet up and listen down. Nope, scratch that, reverse it.
Another junior show that was just released in December is 13 Junior through MTI. Now, I'm going to take a moment and be really honest here. I am a little confused as to why 13, a musical written for 13-year-old performers, needs a junior version at all. Now, I'll be honest, I'm not super familiar with the full-length version of this show in the first place. I know the basic plot is about a 13-year-old boy who moves from New York to a small town in Indiana, and the story is basically about his struggles as a teenager in general, and then those added struggles of being in a brand new school with a brand new social hierarchy and trying to figure all of that out. But if you know something about 13 the musical, the full-length version, that would make it inappropriate for younger performers, then please, by all means, let me know in the comments down below. My only guess as to why they would create a junior version of the show could be for time purposes, because a full-length show is usually going to be closer to that 2-hour mark, so by cutting it into a junior version, it's going to be about 60 minutes, which can be more accessible for younger performers, but that is my only guess. This next title is brand new. It's not very well known, but the music is absolutely beautiful, and that is Between the Lines from MTI.
Oh, I read another chapter so I can be miles away.
This story is about Delilah, a 17-year-old girl who is considered a social outcast, who finds more comfort in the pages of the books that she reads than in the company of the people around her.
Don't judge me. Check out his illustration.
She finds so much comfort in the pages of her books that she actually manages to bring one of the characters to life, and even ends up in the storybook herself at some point. I will let you know that this title is rated PG-13, so it may not be suitable for younger performers. Please be aware that this next title does feature some sensitive content, and although it is listed as being rated PG, I personally think that it should be considered PG-13, so I would not recommend this for middle school performers, but I still think that it could be accessible for high school performers under the right circumstances. Trevor the Musical was released in December of 2023 by MTI. This musical is set in the 1980s and is about a queer boy who dreams of musical theater stardom. Unfortunately, he faces a lot of pushback from his parents, his peers at school, and his community in general.
Trevor's not one of us. He's weird.
This musical is a great story of self-discovery and being true to yourself, but it also addresses some really heavy topics with how Trevor handles the pressures that he faces. I personally would not approach this show with any group younger than high school, and even then, I would just make sure that I had a really strong plan in place for how to discuss these very important and very heavy topics with students. There is a full live professional stage recording of this show available on Disney Plus if you are interested in watching.
Trevor.
As a bonus title, I did want to share that MTI recently acquired the rights to Prince of Egypt the musical, which has absolutely beautiful music. Not shocking because it was written by Stephen Schwartz, the same man who gave us the music and lyrics for Wicked. But notice that I said acquired, not released. So considering Charlie and the Chocolate Factory took 5 years to be released, I would not hold your breath waiting for Prince of Egypt. I hope that you enjoyed this week's video. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, break a leg.